Sunday afternoon here. We are going to do some chart analysis. Obviously, we've had the Trump failed assassination. Nevertheless, I think that could be quite positive for the market. Whilst I think we are due somewhat of a pullback, there's still a little bit of meat on the bone to get to all-time highs, certainly on the DAX. So this is what we will start with, okay? Everyone knows I love my trend lines, and here we are, we've got such that. We've got a resisting trend line coming here from pretty much all-time highs back in May, and then we've had a slow sell-off, okay? A lengthy sell-off, but not dramatic. You know, it's not fallen off a cliff as we've seen at the start of May. We've taken our time to get to the lows of this area here, so we can always do a support and trend line here. Turn that green. Again, very, very boring sometimes, your analysis, or my analysis, but it's very, very worthwhile. So as I say, you've got a sort of double bottom here, and then we've rallied in May. Before we know it, I've had my birthday, so on and so forth. So we are now into a slow consolidation range here, and we've had a nice pop, and again back on this trend line. So you can see how effective these trend lines can be, or are. Nice liquidity grab here, massive sell side liquidity grab here. So again, we would have anticipated a bit of a sell-off, bearing in mind the more times you test this, in theory, eventually it will break. This being said, it didn't do. Knocked everyone's stop losses out here if you'd have been going short, and then again the liquidity is here. Again, you could have drawn this here. Sorry, you could have drawn, because when you are doing your charts and you sort of mapping out things, sometimes you neglect the charts and you don't probably put this in. You know, you would thought, right, okay, we've got a bottom here, 2, 3, 4, you know, and over a period of a week, this consolidation, you might not have put that in. I didn't, because I had this trend line here, okay? This is when I did mention it to the group, which I'll put up in and around here, that we probably will grab 250 and see somewhat of a potential pull. That's why I said, would people like to grab on the buy side liquidity or buy the dip? And then we've had a massive V-shaped recovery from here. So, you know, from the 4th of July, we've had a nice sell-off and a V-shaped recovery here. Nice amounts of confluence. We've got 19.2. We've also got the trend line. We've got failed resistance here. So again, you could duplicate these. Sometimes I use horizontal lines, sometimes I use point to points. So this resistance area here has acted as a nice buy, and a new support here, plus the trend line. So that's 2 mounts of confluence, plus a nice round number, leading into obviously CPI. So where are we going to go from here, and likely to go on the DAX? There's an argument saying we've still got a little bit of room to push long from this high here, or this high here, obviously I'm just using the line, down to here. So we could see a little 160 point move. Again, if we came down and done the similar sort of theses as here, where we've resistance has acted as support and a nice buy zone, there's an argument saying that we could dip down and potentially hit this resistance level here, back to the highs, okay, which was, sorry, there, 19.3. In fact, we'll just go round number 1900, okay, sorry, 18,900. So there's a 250 point move potentially. Again, we've got resistance points here to potentially pull back from, as we have here, which I've not actually marked. So yeah, there's a 300% move here. Okay, if we fail here, this is again another, I call a pivot point, an area of interest where it could go either way. It might not do. It could go from here and rally longwards. We could pull back from here. So the scenarios are such as this, where if we go into sort of a 15-minute, we want to be always trading from a zone, as we are well aware. We've got VWAP here. You know, if we are bullish, I'd like to see a move similar to this, if I get it the first time round. Down to here, grab some sort of liquidity, mess around, yeah, potentially, yeah, pull back through here, and then a nice move up to this all-time high. So from there to there, we know there's a decent 300-point move. Okay, that might be a little bit aggressive in terms of in a singular day. However, we need to follow the momentum. This is taken from Wednesday to obviously Friday, 2 days. Okay, and then we've rallied 500 points or so. Yep, 250 plus 500 is 750, give or take. So a 300-point rally move, push long, call it what you will, could well be on the cards, especially if Trump is likely to be elected now. Okay, this is just my opinion and my theory. This being said, should we not do this and we tank, and given the fact that we've moved 500 points within a week, obviously here we had some consolidation, we could see this pan out. Nice dump down, try and test the resistance and come trend line, and potentially give all the gains away that we've seen last week. Something like that, because we know we've got areas of resistance here. We've had a V-shaped recovery, maybe overextended. This is what I would be looking at here. So you've got your pivot point, supports and resistance, and that's it, guys. Again, a 50-50 chance of whether we're going to go long or short. Of course, we've got VWAP here. I did take off the EMAs. It started to get a little bit messy, but wherever we're going to be trading from, it needs to be a zone. So if we're kind of here, we're not at resistance. Okay, if we're kind of pushing near the trend line, I need to see some sort of confluence. I need it to, there's an argument saying that you need an amount of confluence, i.e. a numerous test to then go in. However, you can go in short and think, right, I've got the perfect price here. If price comes down to here, for example, and you're thinking, right, well, this resistance is now support, 650, you can go in small there. You know, the institutions always say, price hits that level, bang, buy it. If you're wrong, you're wrong. Some people like the amount of confluence, test it a few times, get a bit of volume. Typically, a second candle on a 5-minute rule of thumb is your indication to go long. So if you get a nice bullish candle, green candle obviously, that could be your indication to go long. And when you do look at it on a larger time frame, you can see that, yeah, this is a potential where the market can come down here, come down, retest, and then where we're going to go. We have to do something. We have to come and grab liquidity at some stage, knock out stop loss hunts, call it what you will, or furthermore rally on, grab buy side liquidity and romp on. The Dow is a little bit tricky because we are at all-time highs, quite obviously. This was your high in April, this was your high in May, and we surpassed it on Friday, a month after my birthday. So again, for those that are scalping, you want to be obviously in and out with reasonable margin. For the swing traders out there that they believe that the market might tank for whatever reason, then they need to be going in smaller, quite obviously. So it's just a case of following that momentum, as we've seen in May, obviously in June and July. I've got a resisting trend line, a second resisting trend line, where I've seen we've got numerous tests within this channel. Okay, this channel is quite hefty. You know, we've got a sort of a 600 to, so we've got 2, 4, 6, 8. You know, we've got an 800 point channel here, 600 to 800. So we're trying to sort of identify within that channel a little bit more detailed information, because you're not always going to get the lows. In hindsight, this is a lovely sort of demonstration, an example of a channel supporting and resisting, but then sticking to it sometimes can be daunting. You know, you've got to hang on to your nerve. So, are we going to retest the highs on the Dow? Are we going to come down and grab some sort of support from this resisting trend line, or is this an area that we can again go short from? Then on to the Nasdaq, everybody's sexy favorite at the moment. Again, Thursday saw new all-time highs. I know that Ali is quite not bearish on tech at the moment as such, but is 20 grand the new support, which, as you can see here, in June we had our highs just in and around 20,000, only to come back there again 20,000. But again, it's not a bad buying point. 700 point move from there is massive. So again, sounding like a stuck record. I would like to see the lows of Friday on the European session, and we obviously had CPI data. Could we come back down here and test it? You know, this was a nice trade. I mean, 200 points, 2200, and it went up to just shy of 2500. So we had a 300 point move on that good data. And yeah, where we're going to go from here? Again, I'd like to see real value in value prices. You know, I'm a stickler for your Warren Buffett style of investing. And if things seem very, very cheap, I'm interested to buy them. Of course, you would like to short it from here, but if the sentiment is still bearish to a degree, you don't want to be shorting in a positive market. So again, not going to repeat myself several times. We've got a bit of a, what have I done here? Yeah, so I've got a supporting trend line here, which then is obviously turned. So normally this would be green, but I've used it red there because we've obviously had that big sell-off. So here, this is no man's land to me. I need to see 2200 price react there, some shape or form. And then potentially buy it to retest the highs for a good 600 point move, or again short it all the way down. So that's pretty much your three markets covered.